People walk around calling themselves persons, and then, which they don't know the definition of persons are actors. Actors. Thespians. Just not paid. That's why you identify people as paid actors. Because you're all actors. We are all actors. And how you act, the role that you choose to follow, is the one that is going to be your choice. It's your choice. If you choose to be maleficent or malevolent, that's on you. That's the karma that you're choosing in this experience. Now, there are times when we all have our moments. There's no such thing as perfection, right? Because everything is information. If you look at things like everything is information, then you start to approach life a little differently. Everything is an interaction. Every interaction it's basically a contract, right? And you decide how you respond to it. The interaction is a transaction for your spirit, right? And there are lessons attached to those transactions. There are also consequences as well, right? And I would say I look at the consequences as a more spiritual thing. It's not to do with the physical, but the physical is created by the spirit, because if you are, let's just say, if you suffer from what people call mental illness. There's labels for everything, right? And what people don't understand is that those things are caused by spiritual illnesses. The actions that your physical body is taking in this existence or this experience affects the body, right? If you allow too much stress in your life or too much pain, you'll open yourself up to, if you have all of those negative thoughts, pain, hurt, anger, frustration, rejection, resentment, guilt, shame, all of these things that have been conditioned into you, right? Shown to you. Consumption. People think of consumption as what they're eating and what they're drinking. No, not just that. Consumption is everything. You choose the energies that you are around. That is consumption. You choose the programs on the television to consume. It's consumption. And when you feed your mind, your conscious, your spirit, you're feeding that to your body as well, because your body has a reaction to the consumption of your spirit. If you're around people who constantly hurt you and you choose to continue to be around those people, you are choosing to put stress and tension in your body, or tension that leads to stress, that leads to anxiety, that leads to depression and sadness. You're conditioned to choose the very things that are causing you these physical diseases. Disease, it's just dis-ease. Your spirit is in dis-ease. So now your body is suffering disease. Heal your spirit. Spend time with you. Nurture you. Get to know you. We are all one. And if I don't express to you how I perceive this existence that we're in, I'm doing us both a disservice. But if you've been listening this long, then I think you understand that I'm sharing my perspective on how we can all help each other by helping ourselves. Expressing this because I want what is best for this entire planet. And because people are walking around as actors, not choosing the role or the script that they follow for themselves, you're doing the same job as the people who get paid to do it. The only difference is you're paying to do it. You're paying other people for them to control what you do. Wow. That's what's happening. And if we sit with ourselves long enough, we'll realize it for ourselves. But I'm sharing my perspective because, I'm asking for people just to open their minds and listen to the perspectives of others. I listen to the perspectives of others for fun because I enjoy learning. I am enjoying this spiritual life, having physical experiences. And my job is to reflect on my physical body's reactions to my experiences within the transactions with other beings, so that I can learn more about me, my spirit, and why my body is having a reaction, or my energy is having a reaction to these experiences. I want to know why, so that I can deal with those things in a healthy way by sitting with them and figuring out what my contribution to those experiences were, and why the other contributions from other people affected me the way that they did, because I attracted those energies, right? Or, I was meant to experience those things so that I can learn from them. And then when you express that, you see it. You get labeled as, conspiracy theorists or paranoid, or something negative, and sometimes even to the extreme where you lose your freedom or perceived freedom. Luckily, I know that I'm here, but I'm not really here, or I'm not only here. You know what I mean? I'm everywhere. You're everywhere. We're all one. And the simple fact is that people don't respect the very thing that nurtures it, like us as beings. We are nurtured by the planet, by the sun, by the ecosystem. And for millennia, people have completely disregarded the well-being of the planet and how it affects us, as well as the consequences of those actions. When is enough enough? I think enough is already enough. How do you think that humanity is going to survive if the planet is in disarray and doesn't have conditions that are suitable for human existence? What y'all gonna do? Especially walking around here believing that you are a physical being and that's all you are. It's not. You are the spirit. You are just inhabiting this physical vessel. It's a tool. Your body is a tool for your spirit to exist in this realm, dimension, frequency, vibration, whatever you want to call it. You can call it so many different things, right? Because that's what certain beings have done on this planet. Used language to manipulate energy, frequency, vibration, all of those things at once, through manipulation and deception, while showing you the truth, but tricking you into thinking that the truth is a lie. Happens every day. Now people use it on an individual level, because, that's why people don't like to hear the word narcissist, right? They think it's overused, but it's not, right? Because these narcissistic behaviors have been conditioned into people. Because it's what is societally accepted. This is what society projects as acceptable behavior. because that is how the people who have the most imaginary monetary wealth, and I say imaginary because money has just been one more thing conceptualized by beings that was meant to be a tool, right? But has been manipulated and turned into a tool, but in the most negative way, the most harmful way, I should say. Not negative, but harmful, which would be perceived as negative, right? But I mean, you still learn a lesson if you're harmed, right? Just those. And you'll learn a hard lesson when your physical vessel is no longer useful to you and you have a choice to make. This is my last vessel. And I know to choose that. So there are so many ways to meditate, right? And society would have you thinking that meditation is solely sitting in the lotus position and chanting, and that's it. No, that's not meditation. Well, it is, but it's not the only way to meditate. That's just the way that people have used to monetize it. And that's, okay. But, I think that everyone should be intentional about learning about the practices themselves outside of just taking a yoga class, so that you can understand rather, that yoga is about connecting to yourself, which is in essence meditation, right? So the core of yoga, right, is connecting with yourself, which is meditation, right? But additionally, meditation is being in the moment, addressing the thoughts that come to your mind in the moment, right? And learning how to release those things, but knowing that they're not completely gone. Like, you release them to a certain compartment in your cells, right? Which are memories, and they're storage, in portion. You take that information and you store it somewhere. Well, your body naturally does, or your spirit naturally does. Stores it somewhere in this physical vessel to use as a reference, right? Which is just thinking back, using an experience to think back on another time in your life where you have maybe experienced something similar, or you were faced with the same kind of quote unquote dilemma, right? Or transaction that needed to be resolved. And you look back at that, and then you reevaluate the entire thing. So you think about it, how it happened from your perspective at that time, and then you can reevaluate it and look at it from a completely different perspective, from like the outside looking in, right? Because you're no longer experiencing it. You already made a decision once in regards to a very similar type of decision, right? And then you look back at another one, and you are now in a different space, right? Hopefully, where you can look at it and think, wow, okay, I could have handled it this way. I could have handled it that way. And when you start to do that immediately, after every transaction or interaction, you are ahead of the game. When you're in a space where you can be, in essence, always in a constant state of meditation, because you are always in the present moment, and you are constantly using these transactions and releasing the things and compartmentalizing those things for use at a different time, but you've already learned the lesson. So now you're just storing information instead of just like emotionally reacting to all of these things. Ooh, it has been so helpful to me spiritually, man. I know that I'm still learning who I am, right? I know that I'm powerful. I know that I have purpose. But I do understand that everyone does. And everyone is. We all just have to seek self-awareness in order to embrace other people where they are genuinely and unconditionally, right? I don't have to like it, right? Because who am I to like it? Like, that's their experience. And I just listen to the fact that that is their experience without judgment. And then I use that experience as well as information. You know, like, how would I respond? How would I react? How would, did it make the other people feel? I don't look at things like surface level because I can't. Like, I look at it at the surface, and then the next layer, and the next layer, and the next layer, and the next layer, and the next layer. Because that's how I'm learning. That's how I learn. Observation, awareness, intuition. You know when it's coming anyway. If you know your body. If your spirit knows your body and you're listening to your body and your spirit is connected, then you're going to know when you're ill. Right? And inherently, we always, like, if you get sick enough, you'll know, because it'll show through symptoms. But you're allowing the symptoms to, if you get sick enough, you'll know, because it'll show through symptoms. But it's to your spirit, right? You can start to make changes to these things and catch on to things a lot sooner before they become a problem. You got to feed your spirit first. And all of the things that I mentioned before about television, music, like the types of things we choose to consume affect our spirit, which affects our bodies. Food consumption is extremely important, and I wasn't trying to devalue that portion of the process. There's a lot of things. And I think that's why a lot of people aren't open to listening to conversations like this, because they're afraid of change. If they were to listen to themselves, their life would look completely different than it does right now. But the question that I would implore people who know that their spirit wants something else, they're like just completely ignoring all of the signs, all of the messages that your physical body is giving you to show you that you are literally choosing to cause all of the ailments and dis-ease that you have by through habit, through consumption, through being around negative energies or heavy energies, dark energies, energies that aren't right for your spirit. That's what that is. It's not that they're dark, it's not that they're negative, it's that they're not meant for you. If you listen to your intuition instead of ignoring the quote-unquote red flags that everybody always talks about, by paying attention to the person's spirit, to their character, instead of just having some superficial list of nonsense, materialistic nonsense as a requirement for the type of person you want to be with in a romantic situation, or the type of friends that you engage with. I don't judge people on material possessions, because that's all just part of this simulation, this experience, because I don't put myself in a box. I only like this stuff, I only like these kind of people, I only like those kind of people. These are all labels that were created by other people to cause division. You can separate people based on the color shirt they're wearing, the color pants they're wearing, the color shoes they're wearing. I want to separate people based on the kind of spirit they have. You gotta, you feed off of like negativity, and you want somebody else to project the same kind of energy. No, thank you. I don't want to take on that energy. And I have the capacity to choose not to be around it. And that's okay. You have the same ability. You just have to set that boundary for yourself and then respect it for yourself. All right, well, I'll leave you all with that. Thank you to everyone who has shared the space with me and listened in on my perspective and the messages that were given to me through spirit. I hope that you got something out of it. It resonated with you. If it didn't resonate with you, maybe share it with a friend anyway, because it might be what they need to hear. Be well. Peace and self-awareness.